Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday.
And it feels closer to the weekend than that because we're excited about the expo. But not to get ahead of ourselves, welcome to this week's edition of The Night Bite.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Emily, and we have been coming to you live the last few weeks, twice in the week, actually, because we have been lucky enough to highlight some of the vendors and people and places and things and all the different stuff, some of the different stuff that is going to be at the Wisconsin Ice Fishing Expo. Now, with that being said, that's this week. It's coming up this week. That is why we have one episode planned. We have one planned episode. So I guess the one thing that I'll say is Thursday, we kind of tossed around the idea, are we going to do a podcast live on Thursday? Maybe if people are setting up. We probably decided not to be honest. We don't know how things will be going, what we'll be doing. Maybe we'll be helping vendors move in. But quite frankly, if we are available, maybe.
Yeah, don't count it out. We might just do a random live.
Yeah.
We won't have a green screen. We'll be just raw footage. Background will be hopefully a filling up expo center or a hotel room. We'll see what goes on.
And I have to say, I'm really excited for this coming weekend because last weekend at the St. Paul Ice Fishing Expo, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was a great weekend. Saw tons of great people, industry people, and fishermen. I mean, I have to say there was, decent crowds, but all of our friends, the people that we kind of see each year at the expos, all of those people were there. And I think so many of those people and the deals at the booths are going to be there this weekend as well.
Yeah, as you can tell, I kind of sound like a frog.
Yeah.
That's because I was talking for 3 days straight, it seems like. And it's always fun, right? Being at the expo, talking about fishing with people that want to listen and also talk about fishing. There's nothing better. And so we got to see a couple cool new gadgets. We got to see a bunch of old favorites. It was just cool. There was a lot of people. Yeah, it was good.
And I think we didn't actually do as much videoing as we would have liked or as much as we've done in the past.
Honestly, it was so busy.
I was going to say that was just a symptom of the fact that we spend the majority of our time, we don't just like free roam the expo. I know in years past it probably seemed like that, bringing all these videos at crazy times, but we are there also working a booth. So if you have never heard of Up North Sports, they are a fabulous outdoor sporting goods store based out of Bemidji, but they ship everywhere. They're an online retailer, so they're technically local to you, but they're local to, I guess, the ice belt. And so when we talk ice fishing, it is a perfect place to go to get your gear. So each year they build a beautiful hub. It's like a hallway of striker gear. So when you come to the St. Paul Ice Fishing Expo, one of the things is there's retailers all over, and sometimes the gear is smashed in an actual hallway, and that's fine. There's people there to help, and you will find what you're looking for. But when you can get out of the crowd a little bit to try something on, that's a huge advantage. And that's what we have, honestly, at the Up North Sports booth. And this past weekend, they had some really fabulous deals on suits. So if you missed that, I would say come this week in Oshkosh and see, because I'm betting they have some good stuff at.
Yeah, that's why we try and talk. We took 2 years to try and talk these guys to coming over to Wisconsin. We told them that all of you folks need a really good online retailer. We believe in them. We work with them. They're awesome. And we finally got them to come over. So we're excited to have them over to Wisconsin, and hopefully you guys stop by and check them out.
Well, and I have to admit that this weekend we are not going to be locked in that booth. So we are going to be stopping by. And if you're looking for help on striker gear, I'm betting that we can still help you with the details and stuff. But we will be at the expo. We will be excited to see you. I don't know what I was going to say. I'm excited. That's it.
Yeah,
just keep
stop us, say hi.
Yeah.
Love it.
But we are talking to some fabulous people tonight that actually also went to the St. Paul Ice Fishing Expo and are also coming this weekend to the Wisconsin Ice Fishing Expo. So we're going to bring them in here. We have Alex, we have Phil. Both of you guys are here representing, Neptune Ice Rods. And I guess our first question, can you each introduce yourself and tell us about yourself and Neptune? So Phil, let's start with you.
Yeah, Phil, I'm recently full owner of Neptune Ice Rods. Me and my dad started this 10 years ago. He recently handed over the whole business to me just a few months ago. So this is the first time that's come out. So that's pretty good.
I was just wondering. I was going to
So
say,
I'm
is that news?
doing the best I can. I got a great team around me. Alex is my number one guy. And then we're going to continue to prosper. I tell you that. Yeah.
So, Alex, the number one guy, other than number one, can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. I'm Alex. I'm Phil's right-hand man. If he's the commanding general, then I'm his aide, the captain, the eyes and ears, the advisor, if you will. I run our social media pages, and I'm in charge of finding some awesome influencers to help our pro staff grow and help the company grow. And I'm an avid ice fisherman myself, and yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome. So I have to ask, Neptune Ice Rods. I'm interested in, where did you get that name? How does Neptune relate to ice fishing, or does it?
Well, Neptune comes from my military years. It's I shared the picture with you guys last night. It's tough but it came from initiation in the military when you pass the equator, when you go over the equator for the first time. Captain Neptune Regis would have to grant you permission to go from Pollywog to Shellback. I know that doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but but yeah, that's where the name Neptune came from my military days in the Navy.
Phil, yep, there you go. I was gonna say that's definitely a naval thing. Being the Marine that I am, we gotta pick on you just a little bit.
Well, and it seems like there's a few people at home who may have an idea of kind of what you're talking about. But either way, the name of the company, I mean, isn't as honestly, I mean, it is important because it's your label. But I mean, what's important is the rods themselves and how they perform. And that is kind of the unique thing, is that they are unique rods. So tell us a little bit about the rods that you guys make.
Yeah, the idea came from, this is probably 14 years ago now. We've been officially in business Neptune for 10 years now. So I don't know where the time went. I feel like it was just yesterday. It was the first time up at St. Paul, and we met you two, and you guys came up and did a video of us. It feels like just yesterday, honestly. It really does. I mean, I don't know where the time went. I really don't know. It's been a really fun journey. Me and my mom and dad, we build these rods ourselves. No one else has their hands on them. Me, my mom and dad, we build them ourselves. And the idea came from, like I said, 14, 15 years ago. Me and my dad are fishing the shack like we do. My best friend, we're out ice fishing together. He's my dad. He's older than me. He's and he has carpal tunnel in both wrists, real bad. So like with a straight rod back then, there wasn't any of this pencil gripping back, then, whatever, you hold the rod from the bottom, but holding your rod and pointing your wrist down with a straight rod, towards the hole. That would cause his hand to go numb. I mean, carpal tunnel is what it is. And shit. Well, if you just make a rod that fit your hand naturally, like a pistol. I mean, it's just natural. You don't have to point down, point up. I made a rude prototype. Went to Menards, made a rude prototype. Out of aluminum rod and some. Macy, stop it. And then rude prototype. It was completely rude, but and then gave it to him the next second. He said, "Holy smokes, this is pretty nice. My wrist is not going wrong." It evolved from there, and so that's where the idea came from originally. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if Josh can maybe pull up kind of a picture, because I imagine that there's a few people at home who already have an idea of what you're describing. Oh, Phil, you're stuck behind our logo. We'll take that down in a minute. But let's talk about these rods here, because you were talking about the bend in this handle. And so what this does is it allows a little bit, dare I use the word ergonomic? But it does really allow it to sit in a way that you don't have to have your wrist bent or anything. And so it's interesting because when you walk up to your table, like, the table looks very unique that you have all these rods kind of standing up there. And it is cool that this kind of just came as an idea of necessity.
Yep, it was the original idea was to help my dad. That is, bar none, that is the original concept. I never knew it would grow into this until my dad's like, holy smokes, this is really nice. Let's try to do something with this, and then it progressed from there. From there it was prototype after prototype. We came up with our design. We applied for a patent, in 2014, 2016, our patent came through. And then that's when we launched Neptune.
And then with the bend in there, can you still put on kind of any reel that you want, or you have to look for anything specific?
Oh, any reel. Yeah, any reel will fit on there. The drop down reels, open face reels. Yeah, any reel will fit on there. 100%.
And then Alex, I have to ask, were you and Phil just like lifelong friends that you were in on this in the beginning, or you maybe really like the bend in the handle, or what attracted you to these rods in the first place?
The thing that attracted me initially, at the time I was part of a group that helps veterans out on therapeutic trips, and Caleb Wistad held the position that I currently have, and I've followed his page for quite a while. And I saw an ad looking for pro staff, and I was like, oh, this might be an opportunity if I can help them. Maybe they can turn around and help me if I ever need it. And the biggest factor, though, was definitely being a veteran-owned business. I'm a big supporter when it comes to supporting those smaller businesses, especially my fellow brothers in arms, brothers and sisters in arms. Trying to keep them in business. But after receiving my rods and trying them out, I realized that because when I go ice fishing, I primarily target panfish. I'll run some tip ups for some game fish and such. But what really stuck out to me is on the days that you can throw the entire kitchen sink down the hole and just cannot get them to bite, or they're biting so lightly that you don't feel it and you almost have to watch your tip. The ultralight rod that I had, I could tell the difference between pectoral fin bumping your bait. I'm sure you've seen them on camera blow water on it a little bit, or they do what I call the slurp and spit, where they'll slurp it in halfway, spit it out, and then inhale it right after. You can see and tell the difference on that rod tip, and that's what kind of lured me in, full go. And then I have a fairly successful TikTok, and when Caleb got bumped up to the clam team, as Phil put it, he liked my creative flair and offered me the position, and I grabbed it by the reins, and it's been fun. It's been a fun ride, and it's only going to get better.
That is for sure. And that's actually what a great connection that brought you guys together is, fishing and all that other stuff. But, it's so cool that you guys get to continue to, I guess, like build this together, and fish together and all that kind of stuff. And so the nice thing about this is, there's kind of an ice rod for everybody. So this isn't just a specific handle. This isn't a specific, like, one rod. You guys have a whole lineup for kind of whatever people are fishing for.
Oh yeah, we got 3 lengths in ultralight. We got light action, medium action. We also have our straight handles for automatic, autos for the jaw jackers, clam predators. Yeah. So we try to cover you from panfish to game fish. We have a rod that will suit you. Um, Not only we have a rod that suits you, but it will also come with a lifetime guarantee. If the rod ever breaks, you send it to us, we send you a brand new one. We've been
No
doing that
questions
at the
asked.
beginning. I don't know if there's anyone out there that does that. I've heard things that there might be someone. I know sometimes there's a deposit, or whatever. But regardless, for us, if you break the rod, if you step on it, don't tell me. If it gets slammed in the corridor, don't tell me. Just either way, if it breaks, you send it to us. We send you a brand new one.
That's actually really crazy. I did not even realize that. So as you're saying, that there is something for everyone and every kind of species. And so it might be pretty small on people's screen, but what they're seeing in front of them is you have all different options as far as ultralight rods, light rods, medium, and I think down below they get to be even a smidge heavier. Yeah, so medium, and you can choose your length. So there are people who are hole hoppers. There are people who sit in shacks. There are people with all kinds of preferences and all kinds of ways. And that is something that you get to choose here. And the other thing I'm noticing is that you can choose to have it come already with the reel.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that reel?
Yeah, we offer two options for reels. 10 years ago, 10 years ago when we started, we bought JP 200 reels. That's your beginner reel. That's what we had. That's what we were able to afford at that time. Starting a business is not cheap. With lawyers and patents and stuff like that. But a few years ago, we finally decided to jump up to the JP 500 reel, and it's a good ice reel. It's not your top of the line. It's not your G Loomis or whatever. You're not going to spend $300 for a reel to go on the ice. But this one, I beat the crap out of this one for 2 years before we ordered about 1,000 of them, and then when we released them, went to the shows. We've been going to the shows for many years with the JP 200, and they sold. They did good, but we got some blowback, which we knew it was going to come. The reel is what it is. It's a beginner reel. But once we released the JP 500, they outsold the 200 like 20 to 1.
Oh.
But Alex knows reels a little bit more than I do. So I know Alex has got a couple of comparisons that he can throw this reel out to you guys. So Alex,
Sure.
can you tell him about that?
Yeah, so the JP 200, it's a good reel. I'll be honest, I use the 500. The 200 has some plastic components and only 3 ball bearings. So on those super, super, super frigid days, you're probably going to run into some issues. I personally like the 500 because it's got 6 ball bearings. It's all alloy. There's no plastic components, so you won't have to worry about. Shouldn't have any problems. As long as you take care of it, it'll take care of you. But I've ran Fluger Presidents, PC Fun Carbon X's, pretty much any of your better household name brands, and it performs just as good, if not better, than the rest of them.
Mm. And then I guess I have to say, so as long as you have a great reel, the rods are what you do in the first place. And we have Kenneth asking if you have a number one selling rod.
Oh, that's the 28-inch ultralight, hands down.
That was
Hands down.
fast. I knew right away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That one flies off the rack.
No.
What makes that one so popular, do you think? Or just who knows?
Oh, geez, for panfish, you can't. I don't know the sensitivity that you do not need a spring bobber with that rod.
I think spring bobbers are stiffer than that rod, honestly. Like I said, on those super, super, the moon's out, the skies are blue, like every condition that makes the fish tight-lipped is present. On those really hard, frustrating days, I catch twice as much more fish with that rod. I would take that over any St. Croix, any big name. Like, Yeah, that is like the staple of our lineup, in my opinion.
So I have to ask also, because I was going to almost ask this question right before Kenneth's question is, a lot of times we get people coming to the ice expos and they have no idea where to start with fishing. I think one of the things is we always say, like, get new people involved, bring somebody new out on the ice. But sometimes people, they want to try it and they don't have somebody to go with, and so you go to the ice expo and you start asking questions. So for somebody who is brand new to the sport, where would you have them start, or is it still this rod?
That or 26, 28 light action. It's more of a multi-species rod. You can kind of beat and bang it around. You can hang, with a 28 ultralight. You don't want to go any heavier than 3 millimeters on the tungsten. It's for amateurs or whatever. They're going to throw down there. Where they're going to try. With a 28 light, you can throw spoons down. Smaller spoons. Yeah. So that would be where that's at. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty much the same thing. I wouldn't I'd probably go like, the 28-inch ultralight for some of your smaller baits, maybe a 28 or 26-inch light. I wouldn't recommend a medium to a beginner. You kind of have to start small. So I would like, this is kind of what I do when I take veterans on my trips, is especially the newbies or the really green ones that have essentially no idea what they're doing. I start them with smaller baits to target the smaller, your bluegills, some of your perch, and then as they kind of get more comfortable, then I'll upgrade their baits to try to get them, some of those big perch and even crappie. And once I'm confident that they are comfortable, then I'll let them try a spoon, and every once in a while they'll hook into a pike. Or last winter, as great as they taste on cold water, I caught so many damn largemouth bass, and every time I hooked into one, I would see the flash of a white belly, and I'd get excited thinking it was a walleye. And yeah, poor man's lobster was on the menu.
Oh my gosh, that's really funny. I like the idea of starting with the light instead of the ultralight. I think, that is, like you're saying, Phil, like a really nice kind of all around rod for whatever people are kind of getting out there for. But the nice thing is that if you are starting out, or if you are not starting out, maybe you know exactly what you're doing, there is that option for everybody. And when you're actually at the expo, you get to see all of those different examples because they're out on the table. And so I guess, people always go up and sometimes people do the bend, or sometimes they like shake the rod, for this activity.
Yeah.
But either way, the nice thing is that you do get to see it. You get to see that reel. And so before you, I guess I was going to say, like, make an online purchase, I always like to kind of shop in person. So that'll be a nice thing to do.
Yeah. So we'll have all 8 or all 10 models out, for everyone to check out at the Oshkosh show, like every show. We invite everyone to come to the table. What do you mainly fish for? What's your how deep do you fish? That's the next thing. How deep do you fish, especially with medium rods, or light action rods. 20 feet or up. We're going to be down here, 20 feet down. A quarter ounce or over, under. We have the rod, and to help you land everything you're looking for.
Well, and I think there's something about coming to expos and getting something from people that know what they're talking about. And as a rod builder yourself, I mean, it's hard to go to the store, especially with ice equipment, and be like, hey, I'm trying to fish for this. What do you recommend? Because that person might not even know about fishing, let alone like rod action and rod powers. And
yeah, that's one of my
stuff.
One of the funnest things that I've come to find out about being in this business and going to shows and talking to people and talking to customers year after year after year is I really didn't know how much fun it was to like, because I'm telling you guys, honest to God, 50% of the people that walk up to our booth are into ice fishing, but really don't know what they need to go, what they're going after. You know, being like a teacher, not really a teacher, I'm not, but you know, to help them and guide them into you know, some people will go buy a medium action rod or medium heavy, and they're going after panfish. You know, from a big glass or any store or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, this didn't work," you know. And we help them. You know, if they're going after panfish, we're gonna sell a panfish rod. We're not gonna push them into a heavy action rod. Or if they're going for walleye, you know, they're jigging 30, 40 feet down. We're not gonna sell them a ultralight rod when they need a medium. You know, and Alex saw this firsthand this year when we had several, I don't know, a dozen or so repeat customers that came up to our booth and said, "Man, these rods have been, man, you guys, thank you." I mean, they bought a bunch several years past. You know, we've been 9 years at the St. Paul show. They came up just to the booth just to say hi and say thank you and love your rods, and you know that makes me that's all worth it right there in the end. You know,
Yeah, that was only my
that was like the icing
second.
on the cake. You know, is to see the repeat customers come back and at least stop by and say hi and thank you, and it's, you know, that was really awesome. It's really awesome.
Yeah, that was only my second show I've ever worked, and that was really unique to you know, not just being that we were in Minnesota, but the fact that people came up, "Hey, I still got my rod. That thing was kick ass." And it was just like, wow, all right, buy another one.
Right?
So Phil, I know that we've been talking a lot about like different types of fish and what rods you guys recommend.
Yeah.
But does this mean that you fish quite often yourself? And where does most of the testing for your rods get done?
Lake Alaska, Pool 7 and 8, Mississippi.
So the thing, if people out there don't know where that is, that's in the southwestern part of Wisconsin, and it's a great testing grounds because if you haven't fished a river system, especially during ice fishing, you do a lot of shallow water fishing, and I'm not talking like 8 feet shallow. I'm talking like 3-4 feet shallow. Like you can maybe
even
see the bottom if it was clear water, but it's like muddy, and so you have a lot of issues sometimes with control over fish because there's not a lot of down. It's all out, and trying to get a fish to come up to the hole in those kind of conditions can be tough. And so I think that would speak to your rod performance, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
I miss river fishing.
Yeah.
We used to live by the river, and
I know.
Josh was like
I bring it up
describing
all the
what
time.
we used to do. Yeah.
We need to get over to the Wisconsin. Zach's
Yeah.
on here. Zach said hi.
Yeah, you two
Zach,
need to come over.
let's go fishing.
Yeah, you two need to come over with me and Alex, and we'll take you on the airboat trip back in the backwaters of Mississippi, and
I'm down.
You'll have fun. We'll take you so far out you couldn't find your way back.
Wait a minute, I got something to say about that.
As long as I remember to bring a snack, we can stay out there.
Oh, we'll have snacks, treats,
Come on.
shacks and heaters. We're not gonna be roughing it, but it will be cold going there and back. So bring some sort of face mask or something, because the airboat is. These airboats they're running are about 800 horsepower, and the wind pulling over your face is coming in about 80 miles an hour. So,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
cover your face, but you'll be good. Yeah.
So Josh was kind of hinting before at, I think, St. Paul Ice Expo. And so I guess I was interested in asking, how did the expo go for you guys? And did you run out of any rods, or will you still have everything available this coming weekend?
We still have everything available. As far as the St. Paul show, we love going there. We're not giving up our spot. We're main floor, center room. Have been for 9 years now. As far as how the show went, attendance was down. This is trending from last year to this year. So we'll see how next year goes. I don't know what is causing that. If it's the online shopping or maybe this, I can't remember. Has this show been going on for 20 years now, or maybe this
That's a
was,
really good question. I don't know that.
what's that?
I believe I heard something along the lines of 34 years.
34 years. I don't know if this one's starting to lose its flair. I don't know. When we first went there 9 years ago, it's a completely different landscape than it was this year, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that is in line from last year. I don't know. I'm a vendor there. We're gonna go there every year regardless. That's my honest opinion. From last year to the last 3 years, it's been down. There's still, well, one thing is good that this year, what you said, or you guys would have 30. There's 35 new vendors.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that's a positive note. There's still new vendors coming in.
Well, and I'm glad that you're gonna keep going because, to be honest, I like seeing you there.
Yeah, we're gonna be there next year. We're not backing out. I mean, we didn't blow the doors off like pre-COVID, but we didn't lose money. So I mean, obviously we're gonna go back, and we love that spot. We love going there. It is. I look forward to that show every year. Every year, absolutely. It's fun. Get to see everyone. Got to see you guys.
Okay, so I wanna bring up something, and this is a little bit un-ice related, but
Yeah.
Christmas is coming up, and there's some people that unfortunately aren't very good ice fishermen, and they'd rather open water fish. And so I'm wondering, like, how many kayak users like your guys' rods? It seems like something that would work really well in a kayak, is in addition to ice.
We've tried that route. I have to find, honestly, if you guys know a plug that can help me with that. That's just kind of out of my wheelhouse to say that. I mean, I do ice fishing rods in the summertime. I go camping. I need a break.
Yeah.
Ice season is long with ice fishing, and then doing Neptune ice rods. It's having a business in ice fishing business. It's 6 months on, 6 months off.
Yep.
But there has been some positive stuff. Alex has done some stuff. Yeah.
So
Some sort of we have to still research that. That's for sure. We got to find the right person to help us with that, Josh, for sure.
All right.
So speaking, or to pony off what Phil said, I don't think it's listed on the website, but we actually have a prototype that we came out with last year that we're still kind of tweaking, if you will. It's a 44-inch bowl hopper. It's got a pretty sturdy base closer to the handle, but you still get that super sensitive panfish tip at the end. And last year I was like, Phil, why don't we, I'm thinking in my head, like, some of your smaller inland trout streams or kayak fishing. I'm like, there's got to be an open water market for this. And I took it trout fishing a couple times this year, and I went to some of those smaller creeks where you almost have to use the rod as your lightsaber and pretend you're a Jedi, and dodge all the overhang, and backhand a cast into a little undercut spot or what have you not. I did catch fish with it, but anything over 8 inches, I thought it was gonna really not quite shatter, but potentially break. So we have to come up with a little bit more backbone, I think, and refine it a little bit yet before we can put it on the market as a trout rod with confidence. But I think for kayaking for panfish, it would be perfect. And I noticed with that 45-degree handle, you almost get a little slingshot effect. And I was whipping my baits pretty far for a 44-inch rod.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, Josh. I think I have like 24 left of the whole hoppers left. You guys want to come by in Oshkosh? I know you guys are gonna be busy, super busy. There's
We're
no
gonna stop
exciting
by you either
now.
way.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to see everybody. 'Cause like Emily said at the beginning of the show, like we're not locked in a booth this weekend. We're feral cats. We're running around.
Don't say locked.
There
That's
you
a
go.
bad thing.
Well, locked into, like, I'm not saying we were prisoners. They let us go have lunch once in a while. Kidding, Mike. Kidding, Mike. You're lovely.
Oh my god, Mike from up north for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, some company. Hi, sweetheart. I'm on a
What a
podcast right now.
lovely pets join.
Yeah.
And not to go backwards in this conversation, but I do want to add this in. Alex, I love what you're saying about actually the trout stream because Josh always we have trout streams around us, and Josh's always like, oh, we should go trout fishing. But
There you go.
you were describing like all the branches and the overhangs and casting around it, and it's like that is really hard to do. And actually, I thought I was the only one in the world that was like, I wonder if I should use an ice rod. So I can totally see that application. And that's a really cool idea. And I cannot wait to hear more about the development of all of that. But people here in the comments are getting really excited about Neptune, as they should be. But there's a question if you have any kind of swag or t-shirts or any kind of stuff available online to purchase.
Well,
Or
we
at the
got,
show.
we got hats, regular hats. I got my IGO hat on. I know it's my lucky hat. I gotta get a new one. Hats, beanies, and we also have sweatshirts. So are people saying I should bring some to the show? I got hats and beanies in the truck already packed. Should I bring some sweatshirts?
It might be worth it. They're asking if it's gonna be at the show, so
Okay. I can reload the truck.
Don't gotta twist your arm.
No, don't twist my arm.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of Zach Humphreys, I feel like we've been talking about him all episode. If there was a way to invite him on, we would. He's gonna connect with you. He's a kayak guy. So that's
What's
gonna be
that?
awesome. Awesome. A few other people checking in, saying that they're coming this weekend. So we are so excited about that as well. We are so excited to see your rods. I mean, I guess as far as fishing, one of the things I'm shocked to learn in this episode, or not fishing, but like Neptune rods,
Yep.
I'm shocked to hear that just the three of you make all the rods.
Yeah, me, my mom, and dad have been since the get-go. Yep.
That's great. That is a lot of rods. And then you still get a break in summer. I don't know how that's possible.
Well, the spring and summer is okay. The fall time is it's busy. We got to build a lot for. We should start slowly in the spring, summer, fall. But no, we kind of hang out in spring and summer and relax, and then fall time is go time. And then we roll right into ice fishing season, and here we are. Yep.
And here we are.
Here we go.
That's funny.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. And then I also have to ask, I guess this is a little bit off topic. Have you guys been on ice yet this year?
Me? No. Last weekend was St. Paul. As you know, we saw each other there. Weekend before, we had like 2.5 inches off of Schaefer's. And 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or maybe prior to when I had kids and, stuff like that, I was out there on like 1.5 inches. I'd be out there where the ice was like starting to like kind of bow underneath you. Yeah, when you punched the hole, in the ice, the water started coming up out of the hole. Yeah, I was that guy for many, many years.
This past Thanksgiving marks 8 years since I've ice fished on Thanksgiving Day, and that's still the earliest I've ever gone out. I grew up in the Howard Swamico area, so I grew up perch fishing the bay. I could tell you all those spots like the back of my hand. I've fished it so much, I actually kind of get bored going up there now. I hate to say it, but it took me. So I went out of Longtail. Nope. I can't remember what's that bar? The Harbor Lights Road. I had access from there, and it took me longer to walk out to my spot and walk back than it did to catch my limit. And I don't know if I just got lucky and found a big school, or if it was wild. I punched a hole. I looked down. I'm like, oh, I can see them, and I just started picking through them. But the time that I was out there, I felt a big temperature change. It was getting warm. And on the walk back, every step I would watch the ice just crack under my feet. And I'm like, it's only a 3 to 4 foot deep spot. So I would have just gotten, a little wet. But thankfully, to this day, knock on wood, I still have yet to have an incident on the ice. But yeah, it's been 8 years since I've been able to get on ice in November.
Well, shout out to float suits and safety gear and all of that good
Yes.
stuff. We won't, I guess, preach that tonight because we had a post earlier in the week or something. But we do have a few more comments and questions coming in. So at the risk of switching the topic, I'm going to try to get these in. So we're not cutting anybody off, but we are kind of, I guess, summing things up here. So if anybody at home does have questions or comments, drop them in that comment section because we still have a little bit of time to talk about it. But Zach is asking about your longest Neptune ice rod, like as far as what you currently have available.
I'd say that's.
Go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say that's probably the 44-inch hole hopper. And Zach, if you're gonna be at the show this weekend, come see me. We should have a conversation. I haven't made the post on our Facebook page yet, but we have 3 spots to fill for our pro staff, and you have kind of caught my attention with your potential for ideas. But to answer your question, Phil, correct me if I'm wrong, but the hole hopper is the longest one, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Lots of little conversations going on in the comments, so that is great. Looks like some people are checking in with ice reports, and it looks like it is varying greatly. And I guess being early ice, that's something that we do tend to expect this time of the year. So make sure as you're going out, you are checking where you're at. But the fun thing is some people always kind of have their little early ice pockets that are hidden away, their early ice spots that they know to go to. And the funny thing is we don't really have those because we spend our time at the expos. But even if we're not ice fishing, we are there talking about ice fishing, and that is almost as good, almost.
We let everybody get a head start before we go start catching.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody needs it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my
Let the youngins get out there and blaze the way for us older folks.
There you go.
We did
So
it for
it's the
them
stop spots.
10, 15 years ago for them, Yeah, one thing for sure is everyone out there, be safe. I mean,
yeah.
I used to run. Oh, geez, I don't know how I made it. I was like walking out 1.5 inches. The ice is like bowling. This is pre-float suits, but everyone be safe. 100%. Safety's number one. Float suits, picks around your neck when going out, and the buddy system if you can. If not, make sure you let your significant other or your family know where you're going and when you should be back. I mean, safety's number one. There's been, I'm sure you guys have seen on Facebook, there's already been a couple incidences, and then everyone's seen the guy drive the black SUV through the ice. If you haven't seen that, I don't know if you're into ice fishing, but don't be internet famous for the wrong reason. Safety first, guys. Safety first.
Yeah, and I'm gonna
the worst 15 minutes of fame ever.
I'm gonna
the
throw
worst.
I'm gonna throw a quick shout out here.
I've seen that small SUV go through the ice on I don't even know how many sites or pages.
Yeah.
It's bad, guys. Just yeah.
Well, I'm gonna throw a quick shout out here. I know that our friend Coot, that old Coot over there, he'll be in the HT booth, I believe, this weekend, and you should really stop by because HT has a great piece of equipment. They have a throw bag designed specifically for ice safety.
Yes.
I think it's a very cheap, inexpensive thing to have, not only for your own safety but for safety of others out on the ice. And I really think it's worth picking one up if you don't have one. So,
no, that's a great point, Josh. I forgot to throw in. You need to have the throw bag with you when you go out there. Well, yep.
Awesome. So I don't know. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted just reading the comments.
Yeah,
I'm just
lots
getting
of great
excited for
comments
ice. Yeah, sorry.
Well, you
But
guys
the
are.
nice
I
thing
can't.
is
I don't
people
see
are
the
welcome
comment.
to
Is there
join in
anything?
that conversation at any point, and even after the show. So keep that conversation going. That would be fine. I'm gonna maybe go and comment. But I have to ask, as far as Neptune Ice Rods, is there anything that we missed talking about that you want to make sure we hit on tonight?
I got one thing, or Phil, if you got something, go ahead. But
No, go ahead.
so there's two things we're going to be doing at the show this weekend. The first one, we're going to be having a small little table set up for an awesome organization called Ultimate Veteran Adventures. We've got, and I'm going to cue my inner LeBron James, not one, not two, not three, but 4 guided fishing trips to give away. I have a 4-night, 3-day stay at the Timbers Resort on Lake Ogeebic with a full day walleye fishing with Tim Long, and the grand prize, not 1, not 5, not even 6, 10 Neptune rods. One person will win a bundle of 10 of our rods for a monetary donation. Super excited about that. That's a great program that I'm running here in the state. All the money will stay in Wisconsin. I have a goal to get between 50 to 75 veterans and Gold Star family members or first responders on an ice trip this winter. That's a campaign I'm really proud of and really excited to kick off. You guys got the first announcement of that. One of those trips is with one of my pro staff who's been lighting up the comments. I see you, Steve Krieger. I might have to look down at you sometimes, but I'm just kidding. I see you, Steve. I love you, buddy. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But another one of the trips is from Mr. Ice Junkie himself, and it's you can choose between going on the ice with him or jumping in his boat in the spring. Ryan, mother effing salami, shout out to my Ice Junkie crew. I am so excited for that. There's going to be some other similar organizations there. I don't care what type of prizes they have. That's the one to jump in on. Additionally, I can neither confirm nor deny, but there might be some loose dollar bills on the floor near the Neptune booth. If you happen to grab one, you might get that amount off what's already a discounted show special price. But be quick about it, and if you don't catch it, you might just see yourself on the Facebook reel. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
We might be trolling a little bit. Might go trolling a little bit at the booth. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a 1, it could be a 5, it might even be 100. Who knows?
You never know.
But
Yeah, that's
Like fishing for people because we can't be on ice.
exactly,
Go
you got to
trolling.
scratch that somehow.
Before we sum things up, we do have another thought or question. I guess I don't know if it's really a thought or question. It has a question mark at the end, but I think it's a great idea. Troy is saying he's a kayak fisherman. Any thought on producing a small ergonomic net for kayakers?
Send, message me or Alex your idea, and we'll run with it.
Cool.
Nope.
Otherwise, come to the Wisconsin Ice Fishing Expo because
talk to him in person.
yeah, all of us will be there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, come see us.
Friday, Saturday,
Come say hi.
Sunday.
We don't bite.
Yep.
Speak for yourself.
No, you just put out dollar bills and make people go on TikTok reels.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
But I know that Josh was able to take the website and he posted it in the comment section. So I know that we have people watching from YouTube, we have people watching from Facebook, and kind of all different spots there. But no matter where you're watching or participating from, you should be able to just click on that link, visit the website, and kind of shop around. So whether you are, getting prepared to come and visit the expo, you want to see what you're going to look at, or maybe you're just actually doing online shopping, all of that is available there. And you said that there might be even a deal available at the expo this weekend. So I don't know, maybe that's a secret, but people definitely come on down to check that out. And then I also have to say, can you remind us the social media where do you post if people want to follow along?
Right now we're strictly Facebook. For the life of me, I've spent over a year trying to figure out why we cannot get into the Instagram account, so we're probably gonna end up making a new one. But for now, check us out on Facebook. Yeah, that's where we're at.
Awesome. And I have to say, thank you both so much for taking the time to be here with us this evening. This has been a whole bunch of fun. And I'm really excited to see you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Pleasure as always. And I have to hash out with Phil, but I think we might be hosting a vendor pre-show party Thursday night at an awesome little venue in Oshkosh known as Sturgeon Spirits.
You guys are invited.
Come on out.
Awesome. Cool. So we're looking forward to that, and we're gonna definitely be bringing as much of that as possible to everybody who can't make it. And hopefully everybody can, but you never know. But to the people at home, thank you guys for being here this evening, because that is always a big part of the fun. And like we said before, if you still have questions or comments, keep that conversation going in that comment section, because we'll still keep adding to it as well. But otherwise, we're looking forward to bringing the expo to you guys. It's going to be this weekend. Vendors, giveaways, and all kinds of amazing things. If you are going to check out the exhibitor list and there's people that you want us to specifically talk to, put that in our comment section as well, because we'll interview as many people as we can, I guess. And we are looking forward to that. So I guess I was going to say looking forward to seeing everyone on next week's edition of the Night Bite, but it's going to be before that. So looking forward to seeing everybody at the expo. And with that, I guess that's it. See you there.
Night, everybody.
All right. Love you guys.